Well, Pete Hegseth arrived at the Pentagon today for his first official day as the nation's new Secretary of Defense. Hegseth earlier showed support for President Trump's efforts to remove DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives inside the Pentagon, reinstate service members who had been discharged through the COVID vaccine mandates, and build an Iron Dome missile defense system over the entire United States. He was sworn in over the weekend after the Senate narrowly conferred him late Friday, with Vice President J.D. Vance casting the tie-breaking vote for Republicans. So let's bring in ABC senior Pentagon reporter Louis Martinez with more. So, Louis, Pete Hegseth, day one, arrived at the Pentagon this morning. He was greeted by General C.Q. Brown, the chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff. Hegseth previously had suggested firing Brown. So, and they were asked about that?
No, that's exactly right, Terry. C.Q. Brown greeting Mr. Hegseth as he arrived at the Pentagon. And within minutes after Mr. Hegseth began asking making statements there to reporters who had gathered there on the steps of the Pentagon, he was asked, I think, a question that was on everyone's minds, and here's that point.
Joint Chiefs of Staff and other members of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Standing with it right now. Look forward to working with them. Thank you.
And the question that he was asked, do you intend to fire General C.Q. Brown or anyone else on the Joint Chiefs of Staff? And that was the answer that he gave. Again, this was a question that has been on the minds of everyone who was gathered there because of all those previous comments that have been very tough and very critical of General Brown. And in the past, yes, Mr. Hegseth has been quoted as saying that he should be fired. So that's what prompted that question.
Got it. And Louis, one of the big initiatives of the Trump administration, we were just talking to Maria Villarreal about it, is troops at the border. And Hegseth obviously supports that, Secretary Hegseth. He's also talked about the potential use of the Insurrection Act. What's he talking about the border?
No, so the Insurrection Act is included in the president's initial executive order about the border. That's the one that declared the national emergency, which essentially allowed the Pentagon to send active duty troops down to the border. But within that language, it also says that the review should be undertaken so that within 90 days, a determination can be made whether the Insurrection Act should be used. What is the Insurrection Act? It's something that's been used that allows the U.S. military at a point of insurrection or a point of an emergency to be used for law enforcement. Now, most of us have been taught that the military cannot be used for law enforcement under posse comitatus. That's another act that was created after the Civil War. But the Insurrection Act allows that to happen. And now we have been told U.S. military personnel right now are not being allowed for that use. What he said is it's all up to the president.
All right. Sure is. In this administration, Louis, thanks very much for that.